Okay, today on the bench we have something very unusual. Not a hardware, software this time. It has been claimed that ChatGPT can replace software engineers or coders or software developers. And being a senior software engineer myself, I decided to check it out, see if I have to worry about my job. So I devised, well, not really a test. You can find a lot of that on YouTube. Um, Random questions being asked, the conversations, and yeah, it is really impressive what that neural net can do. But just in the realm of coding, I'm gonna ask two typical interview questions to the AI and maybe follow up. And I'm going to present the AI or the neural net with an actual problem that I have or actual project that I'm working on, and see if actually the chat GPT can deliver in pretty much an Arduino sketch that will do what I need ESP32 to do. Based on that, I'll draw my own conclusions, and we'll see if actually I do have something to worry about. Okay, so the first problem that I decided to give this neural net is a typical interview question to write a function that will compare two versions. I didn't probably write it very clear, so I was actually surprised that the neural net actually figured out how to do it. So this is the first response. Sure, here's a simple function that would do what you have described. And indeed, it's kind of cute. So it runs array map running inval on each value. It's not really needed, but okay. And obviously exploding. Well, actually, didn't I say? Did I say comma separated or periods? The second, okay, consisting of integers separated by commas. Okay, so that was my bad. Well, this should have been period, but okay. Find the length of the largest array, longest one. This is not really needed. But okay, this would not be a blunder. And then iteration and comparing versions, version 1. Yeah, especially since you're doing this, then you really don't need the length. Well, you do need that, yeah, because it's just using for loop. You could do the same with for each loop as well, and just pick the larger one, or you can equalize them, just add zeros, just pad them with zeros if the other version is longer. I would like that solution a little better, but so it returns, but hang on, is this correct? Yeah, that's correct. Okay. And yeah, ultimately return 0 if none of the numbers were either larger or smaller. So this is, you can use it like this. Okay, thank you. I hope this helps. Then my follow-up was, can you achieve the same goal using recursion? Or I probably should have asked, can you do it another way? But yeah, it's possible to use the version comparison function using recursion. And this code I like a lot better. This piece is the same, so I would definitely throw that in another function that would just return those. Just clean it up a bit. It's not very clean code, but it is alright. And it keeps comparing versions, or no, it Yeah. So if the yeah, okay, this is good. So if the first number is the same, then it just slices array, removes the first element, which you could also achieve by using array shift. Would have been a lot nicer than doing slices like that, because it's always going to be one. And then imploded. Yeah, so then it implodes it and sends it back as strings. So this operation and an implode operation will be performed for each cycle, of each number in the version. So not too impressed, but yeah, it will work. It is recursion, and considering that it took literally a few seconds to generate this, it's not bad. It's not bad. But this is simple. Now, let's see my favorite question. Can you write a class called rectangle that has two properties, x and y, type float, and it has two methods, getPlane and isSquare. GetPlane returns float representing the plane, and isSquare returns true or false whether the rectangle is a square or not. And this is what I have been presented with, and this is obviously a blunder. I would expect a large neural net to know that you never compare floats equal. And let's see the examples. Yeah, for these examples, yeah, 4 and 5, yeah, it'll work for these examples, but it clearly states that these are floats, right? So this will not work on actual floats. If you replace 4 with 2 plus 2, or here 4 with 2 plus 2, it will no longer equal here. So it will not be considered a square. My solution to this is to just put the precision as an argument to a square. I didn't specify any arguments for anything, so that was all implied. Not a great job. Not a great job here. This would not be useful, and people go to jail for this. Luckily, the neural net will not go to jail for this. So, my last evaluation, I started with, this is the project I'm working on. I just want to simulate an engine. And actually not even the entire engine. Just, for now, just 3 sensors. A crankshaft and 2 camshaft sensors from two camshafts. So, just giving it this simple request, I did get pretty good description on, well, actually not this one. This one's like very surface level, very surface level analysis. So right, and to generate camshaft signal for H6 boxer engine, the same thing. I can't do it because I don't know what those signals are. Well, I don't either, but I can still do it, and then just, adjust the waveform based on the whatever. You don't need these exact numbers to get this done, but it's actually giving me a pretty good step-by-step, right? Hook up the oscilloscope to the car and see those signals, and that's what I wanted to do. Just show me how does the average camshaft signal looks. And yeah, again, very surface level, something that anyone can tell you pretty much. And can you show me that on the oscilloscope? But I guess it took it a bit too literally. That I cannot connect to oscilloscope. Well, if you ask a human that, they would just take a piece of paper and a pencil and just show you the average signal from the, especially since it's a square signal. So it's really easy. But it did give me, okay, follow these steps. Right, timescale, connect to the CMP sensor output. Start the engine and watch the waveform. Okay, that is, I guess, useful. But finally, I asked him to write an example sketch. Right? I get it. You don't have information. Just show me anything. So the first answer I got, it used PWM channels, 3 PWM channels, which I really like. I think that's a good approach, or at least, well, maybe not, because you do need to synchronize the signals. But I was really curious what it's gonna do. It doesn't even look like Arduino Sketch. There's no Arduino framework being included, which is fine. You don't need to use Arduino. And it just sets up. I'm not sure why would there be a fade, but okay. And it started configuring channels, and unfortunately it just crashed while working on third channel. So I regenerated the answer, and this is just pathetic. While the previous one was like really promising, this one is just absolutely pathetic. What is this? This is digital write and delay, and digital write and delay, and no, that's not a signal. But okay, it even gave me some explanation and stuff. So I specified further. I want it in 3 tasks, right? So yeah, it's possible to do multiple tasks. Using FreeRTOS task. Okay, again LED 1, 2, and 3, and again tasks are basically while loop and a task delay. So these are what, 1/1000, so 1 second, right? So this is like what, half a hertz, whatever. So again, not what I'm looking for, right? So let's push further. Signal 1 will have different frequency because that's going to be a crankshaft. And then 2 others, 2 and 3, will have the same frequency, but because camshafts will rotate at the same speed, just going to be offset by a certain angle. To generate frequencies, blah blah blah, and this was answer number 1, which yeah, we didn't follow up with that one because it crashed right here. So again, the same thing, but it was misunderstood because it was starting. Oh no, it's actually, I don't know, because I don't see the entire code. Task 2, again, digital write, delay. So, and period minus duty. So basically, it just mimics PWM over here. Okay, but this one crashed. So let's see another one. I regenerated the answer. So this one looks pretty much the same, but this one haven't crashed, right? It uses tasks, blah blah blah, task 1, yeah, pretty much the same thing. Okay, so let's push further. So all 3 tasks need to be synchronized using RTC or something, right? Use whatever you want, but they need to be synchronized. They can't go out of sync, right? So it can just be, you know, delay and digital write and delay, because this function might take a few microseconds longer one time and the other few microseconds shorter. So you need to synchronize after few cycles, even few cycles. You can get out of sync. So they need to be synchronized. Okay, let's see. Real-time clock. It understood that RTC is a real-time clock. Let's see what it did. Again, it crashed here at RTC set time. I'm not sure if those crashes are a result of the actual neural net getting confused, or they just don't have the infrastructure that doesn't support more complex, I don't know what, maybe it's running out of memory, maybe it's running out of space or cycles or whatever. It is free after all, so yeah, I can say I can blame them for that. So let's do number 2. Again doing just digital writes and sleeps, but again set up the timer. Well, that didn't work, huh? Let's try number 3. This time again different libraries, same approach, and again we crashed generating task number 3. And try number 4. Now it completely changed the direction, right? Because now it's telling me about semaphores, that you can synchronize tasks using semaphores. Well, semaphores are not to synchronize tasks, they're so the tasks don't step on one another, right? Especially if you have like 3 devices connected to one SPI line, you can't use them all at the same time. So one task takes over SPI, puts the semaphore, and other tasks are waiting. So this is useful information, but that's not what I was looking for. So all 3 signals must be synchronized and adjustable, right? I want to, based on the throttle input, I want to change the frequencies, but the offsets and everything need to stay the same. And let's see what we got here. Again, the neural net crashed, although now it's going to use semaphore that it appropriately called mutex, which I like. But again, let's just regenerate response here and see. Let's give it one more try. Oh, now it defined a signal T struct. Nice, I like that. Okay, it's trying to take a semaphore, and again it crashed. Even if it wasn't for those crashes, right? Because let's regenerate number 4 or number 3. Try number 3. Is this coding to you? Would you want to be coding like this? Here's an example sketch to use mutex. Okay, I'm not looking for an example how to use mutex. I want you to write code for me. Preferably so I can just upload it to a ESP32 and it's just gonna work. But this is very far from it. Even if the code compiles, and again crash. Again it gave up. One last try, because the previous one worked on the 4th try. So let's see. Okay, now the answer is kinda different. It's getting task again and just defining, getting mutex timer, declare shared timer variable. Okay, that could work. It should probably be volatile, but that should work. It is primitive, so it shouldn't be an issue. Okay, in task 1. Okay, and we crashed again, but this is not what we want. So it's gonna start generating signal only if it can acquire mutex. And that is not the synchronization that I was talking about. and I don't even know how to correct the guy now. How do I tell the neural net that no, you're going the wrong way with the semaphore? We don't need a semaphore. We need a timer. And okay, so that is supposed to be a global timer, but it's assigned in each task. That doesn't make any sense. Probably that's why task 2 couldn't be done, because you're already assigning timer over here. So what are you gonna do in task 2? Yeah, this is completely not the right direction. Like way off, way off. And you could blame my, my lingual skills, right? I'm not probably describing it correctly. I could work on that and adjust how I describe the task, and that could help. But give me one coder that haven't understood what needs to be done here based just on this tiny conversation, or at least a human coder will ask follow-up questions, or maybe ask for, I don't know, example. It's a car. It's a car engine. It's just 3 sensors that just respond based on the position of the camshaft and crankshaft. There's nothing, I didn't even include the throttle signal, that is PWM on I think 500 hertz, and based on that you need to turn the crank, and then based on the crank the cams are turning. So this is like really simple problem to solve. I mean it takes time, but it's really simple. It's not no special math over here or anything. And since I told the net that they need to be offset by a certain angle, that should be a clue. Let's see, camshaft blah blah blah, where was it? That they need to be offset by a certain angle. Example blah blah blah, different rights, different values, I don't know where that was, by a certain angle from one another. So that already gives you the idea that we're talking about rotation here, and we have different diameters of elements that are rotating, and they are fixed together with or locked together by a transmission belt, or the timing chain or timing belt, whatever. So that should be easy. I would not expect a neural net this powerful to take 4 or 5 times to write irrelevant code and code that doesn't really make sense, and just crash every time. And I can see why it's crashing. Yeah, this is not gonna work. This line is not gonna work. Reset timer? For what? And you're gonna reset the timer in task 2 as well? These are independent tasks. They run independently through multitasking, multiple cores. What if I run this one on core 1 and this one on core 2, or core 0 and core 1, whatever? This is not gonna work. This is a wrong direction altogether. Yeah, I'm not worried that this software is gonna replace me. Not one bit. Based on my initial testing, I do not feel worried at all that my job is in jeopardy. I also don't think that ChatGPT can be a better assistant than Stack Overflow or any forum, a Discord server or whatever. Um, it can deliver semi-accurate results or even very close to accurate results, but the blunders that it does, it just kind of completely negates the use of it for coding. Um, and main idea is that um, if you hire a coder or a team of coders, um, what they provide is a system, not just a few lines of code or a function or a sketch for Arduino or what have you. They actually deliver maintainable, scalable solution to your problem, and you can work on that. You can develop it further. What OpenGPT delivers is kind of I would say equivalent of the off the top of my head ideas that I can throw at you when you just ask me randomly of some stuff, and I'll point you in the right direction or give you a basic idea, but I'm not going to deliver the actual solution. You have to do that yourself. And I don't think I'm gonna be using it for my coding job. Pretty much for that reason. Now I might keep using it for another few weeks, maybe a few months, but my general opinion is that it's way overhyped. Uh, it's very cute. Um, it can give you an impression that you're actually talking to a person, so that is really cool. It's a cool technology, uh, but it's in its infancy at the moment, and I don't really see it being actually useful or being capable of replacing a person, especially in my profession, uh, even within the next decade. It's way too intricate, and as you saw, the blunders are, just kind of negate the whole value that it provides. It's kind of like if you ask how do I do this as a beginner, as I've never done this before, where do I start? That is very valuable. What that neural net can deliver, what it can provide for you. It's definitely useful, but it's not like you can actually learn something from it. Uh, the whole idea of the neural nets is to kind of mimic the actual neural net or the actual brain, but it all comes down to teaching it, to how you train the network. Um, so maybe if it was um, maybe if it was trained particularly for coding, it would have been better. But then again, you have GitHub Copilot. It can also deliver some valuable pieces of code. Again, I don't use that one either, and I've never been. Well, I have tried it, but I haven't really worked with it. And this is the first one that I worked with, because no one said that, or at least not to my knowledge, that GitHub Copilot will replace coders, because that was not the idea of it. It was supposed to assist coders, right? Reduce the time that you need to spend on coding. Um, OpenGPT is pretty much the same thing. At best, it's like kind of a dummy assistant, and that can help you, but can also do a lot more damage than good.